Hey, I am finally coming to you with some reviews, y'all. I've been okay with Atlanta. We gonna see about that Huntsville. At this point, it's Thursday. At this point, y'all ain't getting no Huntsville this week. But I'm gonna do it this coming up, I promise. Cause most of the renovations, the kitchen is almost done. I just gotta get my daddy over here to do the backsplash, new sink, countertops refinished, cabinets done, walls painted, new fridge, new dishwasher, new over the range microwave. Kitchen is almost done, just that backsplash. So I don't have to play foreman and my regular job and momming and everything else. I can just focus on other things. And then I done had my surgery, so I'm sitting down. I'm healed enough to be vibrant enough for this review. So yes, y'all, a week out of sterilization, y'all. And yes, excited about a whole new world. Today we is going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. What's the name of this episode? This is season 17, episode 4. Where's the beef and the budget? What was that? What was the budget speak to? I was confused about that. Who ain't had no budget? Who ain't had no budget? I was confused. We'll see. We start off with Pinky. She is at her restaurant, Lady Vegan. She texts all the ladies that she's going to be doing a fundraiser, and she told everybody exactly what she wants them to bring. I said, period. Kelly comes by while she's kind of mapping out the event with her people, with her team, and Pinky tells Kelly that she is thinking about filing for bankruptcy. Kelly's like, girl, me too. I said, what is life? Okay. This is, this is not what we used to on Housewives, but hey, the new normal, I suppose. She is telling everybody but her husband, y'all. This is like the second time, because we saw the clip where she said it to K. Michelle, and then we see this clip, and then we're going to see later on what she's telling the group at large. Then she's going to file for bankruptcy before she tells her husband. We'll get there. So Kelly's like, girl, have you told your husband? She's like, no, I ain't talked to him yet. And Kelly's like, girl, ain't that what husband's for? Come on now. So we see Phaedra. No, she talks about Phaedra and how Pinky said that Phaedra been saying that she eat meat. First flashback we see is Shamia saying, Phaedra said she be eating meat, okay? And then we see Kelly fake, What point say, she's a fake bitch. Okay, and she is, because we see Kelly herself saying, I saw her eating some steak. Kelly. Well, she in Pinky face, not saying a word. Y'all, just drink her little drink. Shamia said it. Oh, girl, that's crazy. I'm drinking a T-Mosa with the Nene Leaks twist because it's got a splash of Saint Germain. Okay? Y'all know I love my Prosecco. Splash of Saint Germain. And my little tea. So next we see Cynthia we see everybody talking about Cynthia has a partnership with some tequila brand, and she's got a trip coming up to Dallas. She's going to invite all the girls. I guess the men can come. Everybody's got a +1. Because we see Shamia asking Gerald if he going to go on this trip. Shamia and her scenes with her husband just give me secondhand embarrassment so very bad. It's like, it's one thing to be in this marriage and to deal with these things. It's another thing to force it on camera. Because why put yourself through the embarrassment? You know we as the public have very strong opinions. And I'm not even gonna lie. Shamia's situation, I kind of shy away from for some reason. And I guess it's just so like I don't be on here telling all my business about fertility. But I guess that's the problem with society is people don't know, men don't know what's going on, and we should just openly have these conversations about fertility and the responsibility that comes with it. Shamia, now is it true? I know a lot of people said that her price as a wife, her inheritance, whatever gets left to her, a bigger chunk gets broken off if she gives him a male son. Is that really true, or is that just, you know, lures of the interweb? Okay, but the way that they, when she has had over 6, I think she said 8 rounds of IVF. 8 rounds of IVF. And I don't know how many of those IVFs were had by the time, like how many they've had since they have their 2 children. But it gets to a point. It gets to a point. Like the kids are little now. They don't quite understand. But I feel like as a child, if I go back and I look at this and I see that y'all out here killing yourselves, the marriage, and dang near other people to have a boy child as if we are not enough, as if we mean nothing. It's crazy. And not to put, what's her name? Shadina, not to put Shadina's situation on Shamia at all, because once I realized how old Shadina was, it was very odd that she was still being a surrogate when you the same age as the people that you having the baby for. That was kind of odd to me. You want somebody that's young and fresh. Go find, you know, the 25-year-old that's, she ain't in college no more. She can go have a baby and sit down for a second and be your surrogate and do what you need to do. Not somebody that's your same age. So that was odd to me once I realized, oh, Shadina is like y'all's age, still having surrogate babies for y'all's age group. It was odd to me. So I'm not going to put Shadina's situation on Shamia. These are just things that essentially might come with age. You know, some people do develop different illnesses, cancers, and things, whatever their genetic disposition may be. It's just that the pregnancy hormones sped up her cancer growth or something like that. So they had to have the younger baby earlier than what she could be had or something along those lines. Ain't that what it was? Like, I feel like the medicine or the pregnancy altogether was just kind of progressing the cancer along. And they didn't find out she had cancer until she was pregnant with the baby. So I can't put that on Shamia. That's just the luck of the draw when you're dealing with said options on the table. But the way 8, 9, the last surrogate that we saw last year, she did a transfer. It didn't take, so they firing her and finding another. And I'm like, what in the giver? We need another birth, bitch, right now. Send another birther in stat, okay? We need a baby. And I'm just like, ain't that, what's this show y'all be watching? I can't think of the name right now. But it be like some shows like that where it's really just women locked up in the basement, just there to have the children. Do nothing more, nothing less. And I'm just like, child. So Shamia, Gerald dismisses everything that Shamia says and does. He just, give me my boy child and we can talk about the rest later. That's what he gives, okay? She asked him if he liked the dress. He didn't really respond. She asked him if he going to Dallas. He said absolutely not, okay? And while we all talking about Dallas, we see Portia invite Mike to Dallas. Portia's friend Mike comes over, and he looking crazy. He looking like a caricature of these eccentric YNs. It's like, you're too big and you're too grown for this. Like, he looked like he picked his whole outfit off of a mannequin. Like, he too grown for that. I feel like once you get past a certain age, you should kind of mix and match your pieces. He looked like he picked down to the chain and the belt. Okay, it was picked off of the mannequin. Can't take it. Portia loves it, allegedly. So they sitting there talking. They start talking about she is selling her mama house. Everybody be like, dang, Portia putting her mama out on the street so she can sell that house and get that $1 million to put towards this house. I think it's kind of ridiculous. She says that that's the way that she gets the money in and the money out that she put in. But I'm like, you don't even need all this house. When they bought this house, they bought it with his kids in mind too, because he got like 5 kids. So it's like, yes, it's a beautiful home. Yes, you don't want to go back to your home in Duluth. This is a $3 million house. Once y'all sell it, you get your half of it. You get your 1.5 of that. You put you another little 0.5 on there. You go find you a 2 million. You go find you, like, it just don't make no sense for her to be doing all of this. And I don't even think I think it's a time limit on how long she can really be in the house. And I think if Simon do some craziness, she would have to get out anyway. Like, can't he stop paying on it and then she had to pay all the liens or something on it? Like, ain't it something crazy like that, y'all? But yeah, she don't care. That's her house. She gonna be in her house. I said, no, it ain't never that deep. It ain't never that deep. I would have packed that little house up and moved to something down the street. Something down the street with 1,000 less square footage. Give me something in the same neighborhood with about 1,500 less square footage, please. Thank ya. You know? So he's talking about how he want 3 kids in marriage. She's just like, do you see this body? I just got a recent snatch up. Ain't no way another baby coming out of here. I'm paying you. Who giving you a baby? She was about to give Simon a baby. They said she had some embryos with Simon. She was trying to make sure them checks was serious. Trying to make sure them checks was serious before she went on and pulled the trigger on that. And they weren't. They weren't. So basically for Mike, he's like, essentially this is a deal breaker because he does want to have kids and be married. Portia's like, I've been married twice. I got a daughter. I'm straight. And so, yeah, I guess hopefully this is the end of Mike. I hope that he don't really come on the Dallas trip, because why? We see current day in the media that she is fully with Sway, and her and Sway are the cutest little sapphic lesbian couple out there in Bali at the little plane ship, the little plane Airbnb with the picture. It's so cute. So cute, okay? If you gonna go through them, yeah, you might as well round that boat out. Round that boat out, go get your little stem, go get your little sauce stud, okay? Megan, she next. Everybody talking about, she called Victoria Monet, that's her bestie. Well, you gotta call your bestie. And people were getting mad about it. Why are y'all sexualizing Meg? I'm like, you must didn't see the Coachella performance, because the way Victoria Monet sat that cat right there on Megan's crotch. This ain't even about that. Ain't even no lesbianism going on in this episode. We'll get there when we get there in the season. We see Portia, Phaedra, and Angela go to spin class. Phaedra and Charles have them a little silly moment of introducing themselves, because remember last season, he basically was like, girl, you don't know me. You talking about you know me and I be cheating on my wife. Girl, who are you? What's your name? Just because you're in the same room with me don't mean you know me. So that was funny with them introducing themselves while he was holding the door. They having their little fake class. You know they ain't going for real because they not sweating. And spin class is serious. Spin class, you got to do the 4 corners. Some of them, you get real serious. You can take your hands off the bar. You might do an X. You might do It's real serious. And they was real play. So I was like, they ain't doing no real class. They just put up there for about 10 minutes, got some shots at each angle, and then sat to the side for their little gossip sesh. Okay, that's how it was. So first they touch on Phaedra and Angela being cool now, because essentially Angela should have beef with both of these people that she's sitting with. Phaedra allegedly told the lie about her husband cheating. She carried it on for a bit. And Portia straight up said, if she keep on playing with me, I'm a good husband. So, you know, it's amazing that we all sitting here all cordial and cool and whatnot. So that's the first topic. Second topic, they're wondering why Pinky is mad at Phaedra. Phaedra's like, I ain't say nothing about this. And she's like, girl, they said that you said she had a rib joint. And they played a clip where all Phaedra said was the same thing I said, is that Pinky had a Jamaican restaurant back in the day. So that's all she said. She had a Jamaican spot. Shamia is the one who spun it and made it messy. But speaking of Pinky, she's late on rent and she worried about me and talking about she the hamburger. She got bigger fish to fry. They talk about how they each got an assignment for what to bring. Phaedra says she's going to be spending like $4,000 on formula because she got to get the vegan formula and it's like $30 a can. That formula be expensive, y'all. Formula be expensive in the formula industry, and how they don't let the people take maternity leave, so you gotta rely on formula. Girl, don't get me started. Don't get me started. And Portia's like, girl, she asked me for backpacks and everything to go in them. I just was like, girl, just here go my Amazon. Order what all you need. We see Angela have a business meeting, y'all, with her team. She's pitching these fans, y'all. She's going to do these fangies, and she got to basically put up $45,000, $30,000 for product, $15,000 for marketing or something like that. I said, oh, okay, if she say so. She lets them know that she got another house. All of them start side-eyeing like, huh, this don't never listen. You can tell they annoyed by her, like, this girl, no, they would have told her. She like, listen, it's just one house. One of the ladies say, she ain't gonna learn. She ain't gonna learn. Charles walks in as soon as she's talking about he gonna pay for half of the stuff for these fans. He's like, listen, I ain't finna be no model, because she asked him to model. I ain't finna be no model, but sure, I'll fund another one of your projects. Period. He love his wife. He just a grumpy old man. So Pinky is having her event this day. We see Portia goes to Phaedra's house. They go pre-groom some food. They said, we don't know what this vegan food finna be. We ain't finna eat no vegetables. We finna pre-game this food. They have a little chat with Aiden about, boy, you taking a nap? I'm taking a nap in a black mama house. I was like, child, bye. At the actual event, the rest of the ladies were there, except for Drew. We didn't see Drew this whole episode. They said she had a respiratory infection, but I'm wondering if she didn't have no money to buy these items, so she just couldn't show face if she wasn't going to be bringing stuff. I'm wondering, because they didn't... I'm wondering, what was the last fundraiser? Kelly's Ball main event, and they said that Drew didn't buy They said that Drew didn't buy that. She had to show them a receipt where she bought it later and stuff. So I'm wondering. But no Drew. Everybody else is there though. Pinky's husband was there for a blink of an eye. Okay? A blink of an eye. A lot of people felt the way, including Pinky. She said he could at least gave me 45 minutes. Like, my goodness. That man came in, looked around and said, all right, you got it. I got to get out of here now. I don't even think any of the ladies saw him. I think that's how quick he was in and out of there. Okay. K. Michelle feeling still hurt about Portia. Portia feels a way about the, oh, we got some sluts in the building greeting, because it is very off-putting. Because I'll be looking at y'all like, we got some what? Calm down. Calm down. Portia and Kelly avoid each other. Kelly is sick. She leaves. Should never came. Now she's in a confessional talking about some, oh, Pinky needs to name one of the burgers a horse shot with a side of foo-foo. And it be blowing me because she does all of this in the confessional and she never says it to Portia's face. And production says, "Are you done?" I said, "Oh, I'm glad they can't stand you because they know you ain't said this to her face. So they don't want to entertain you trying to do all of this in the confessional neither, because girl, you have yet to say anything to her face of the sort. So cut it out. Cut it out." And this is why Kelly and Shamia are made for each other. That's why. So next, Pinky's just like, "Oh, Phaedra, you said I eat meat. You said I eat meat." Phaedra's like, "No, I didn't." They figure out that it's Shamessi that's in the middle of all this. And yeah, Shamessi is just like, "Oh, well, Phaedra told me. Well, I could have sworn that's what I heard. I must have heard it wrong." Phaedra's like, "Yeah, you lied on me. I should have known you would lie on me." She's like, "Why would I lie on you?" "Because you don't like me. You don't like me, Shamia." And then they have this clip because Pinky used to work for Maury. And Pinky's like, "I used to work for Maury. I got a lie detector test in my back pocket." And they have a clip of Maury being like, "In the case of does Pinky eat meat? That's a lie." People was like, "It was corny. That was corny." It was very corny, but it was still a flex. It was still a flex, no matter how corny it was, okay? Because yes, I did work for Maury, and Maury loved me so much. I was like, come send me a little clip right fast. I just need you to say this, period. Okay? We see Portia, Lauren, and Dennis at the house. They are meeting about some podcast ideas, getting some stuff going. PJ wants her a podcast, a YouTube as well. She want to do like an unboxing thing, I guess. We see Torin from Candy and the Gang, okay? He's going to come assist them in some way. He had his tool belt on. He said he's going to get the roughness out, so I guess they going to start with furnishing, remodeling and furnishing the place for all of the different sets that Portia's going to need. And they did not put Candy in the Gang or Candy's old lady gang. They didn't put no respect on that. I said, you better put some respect on Candy and the Gang. Gang, 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 gang. Don't you want to go to the place to be with 3 old ladies recipe? Something and some chicken. I don't remember the words, but I like the show. And I'm just, we TV, Carlos King, where are we? Come on. Candy, with Candy. I forgot. It's probably still beef with Candy and Carlos. Allegedly, it's been always said that he's the one that started the "you said that" as far as Candy trying to take Portia down. But the reality of things, what Candy has said out loud, is that he bought the rights to SWV doing a movie, and he tried to go forth on the movie without consulting SWV. I mean, not SWV. Why I say SWV? Escape, child. Escape. He tried to go forth on making a movie without consulting them. And she's like, "Nigga, we're all alive. What you mean you finna make a movie about us without us?" And she says that that's their beef. But I'm like, I want y'all to get past the beef so that we can get old lady. I mean, well, shoot, old lady gang ain't even a gang no more. Damn, we've missed our moment. Well, we can still have Candy in the Gang because I'm sure she still got Don Juan. Torin should be around in some way because that dude, he did great work. I'm sure she done jailed him into the Candy Coated Cook in a facet that isn't just tied to the restaurant that is now gone. How we get here, child? Yes. Oh, Torin, Candy in the Gang. He helping out. So she's explaining to Torin about the different podcasts, and she's explaining to Dennis too. And she's like, "Yeah, Pilar told you about it, right, babe?" And everybody like, "Babe." And then it's just like some silly little banter go on. Torin leaves. Dennis sneezes, and he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna bless me? You're not gonna bless me?" I didn't understand it, but apparently Mike's name is Mike Bless, so he was trying to be petty. And I was just like, oh, Lord. Dennis he all but her. "Oh, he live in my building and this, that, and the third. And, oh, he's sending you flowers." And she's just like, and he feels like he should have some input on the men that she dates because she don't pick well. And she's just like, you know that you in that bucket too, right? So you wasn't a good pick too, right? And he starts judging her about her marriage to Simon and how, you know, and how essentially she wasn't married but for a hot second. You know, the quiet part, you know, the quiet part is you stole that lady husband and it was shambles from the start. But you worried about me and how I do. Okay, that's essentially what he was wanting to say. But he says it in a roundabout way. And she's just like, well, if you would ever commit to somebody, you would know what a breakup feels like. And then she's basically telling him that he shouldn't be worried about her. Because don't you live with your girlfriend? I said, Lord, is that why he over here looking all crazy, all hungover, looking like he just popped a perk and rolled out the bed and came over here for whatever this is, child. Came over to terrorize Portia. What is happening? So now Portia is telling him that they can't do the podcast together because he's too much in her personal business. Because who she date ain't his business. They ain't together no more. We're co-parenting. Okay. Pinky finally tells her husband that she is about to file for bankruptcy. He asks her, who all know? And she don't say nothing. She just go, girl, you know he gonna see this, right? You know he gonna see this, right? And he gonna be real mad to see that it is 3 to 4 different instances on camera of you telling people before him. So ain't no telling how many in real life outside of the show. You told them before him. A mess. He says this is gonna be a public nightmare. That's your first thought. Child, it's interesting over there. But he offers her the $5 million. Now I'm confused because what's this $5 million? She was just talking about a lawsuit for $89 million. And then she tells him that no, she's not going to take the money. She don't want to take the money. A lot of people feel like, oh, she's being too prideful. If he's going to give her the $5 million, she should take the $5 million. That's just one lawsuit. This lady mentioned 89 something. Was it not 89? Maybe it was 89,000. Maybe it was 89,000 that she mentioned earlier. But the thing that they're not mentioning, and I won't stop bringing up, the theft of wages. Multiple of her restaurants have said that they have not been getting paid. This is like long ago. I don't know if these were settled or whatever, so they don't matter anymore. But that was a thing too, is them theft of wages. So my guess that she won't take the $5 million is there might be some more lawsuits down the river. There are some more lawsuits, and if she gets to paying them off now, everybody's going to have their hand out looking for it, versus if she just files for bankruptcy and let everything reset, she can reset and they got to worry about paying nobody. So that's really it. That's really it on this episode. Pinky finally done told her husband. I think next week is when the drama start building up. Hopefully we don't see Mike no more. Hopefully we see more of Sway. Hopefully we see less of Kelly. Hopefully we see a little more Drew. Let's see what Drew gonna give with this divorce going on. And I wonder, well, no, everything that's happening now as far as her having to get out the house, that's happened after filming has ended. So we won't see that. But I wonder how much of the divorce proceedings are we gonna see? Because at this point, they still married and he's still living in the basement, right? A mess. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know what y'all think about this episode. Until next time, bye.